boys and girls, welcome back to art. We're going to be creating kind of some optical illusions here, some art so that we can create a color wheel. Do not color anything today, boys and girls. Right now we're going to get our actual pictures drawn. You are going to use a pencil, not a Sharpie, and then you'll use a Sharpie. Mrs. Shop is going to use a Sharpie to show you, boys and girls, so that you guys can see it on the camera, but you want to be able to erase it and if you make a mistake. I am not going to use a ruler, and I don't recommend that you do because sometimes we overlap our ruler, but I do want to say make sure you're using a very light pencil. Don't press down hard. So if you notice, my paper can either go vertical or horizontal. So today I want you to have your paper horizontal, and you're going to use your pencil to make a very light little dot right in the middle of your paper. Do not do dark. Like I said, I'm doing dark with a Sharpie so that you guys can see it. So you should have a dot right in the middle of your paper. Now I'm going to make 12 lines all coming from this one dot. They're all going to radiate out, hopefully pretty even. Doesn't have to be exact, but I want you to make 12 lines coming out from that dot. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice when I'm doing this, boys and girls, I am turning my paper. I'm not trying to turn my arm. I am turning my paper. Now, if you lose track and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot, put your finger down on your first one that you drew. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I need to go 9, 10, 11, and one more makes 12. So you should have all the way to the edge of your paper, all the way around, 12 lines all coming from that one point. This is radial symmetry, even though it's not exactly even right now. If I was wanting it even, I'd be measuring it, but I really don't want y'all doing that. Kind of reminds me of the spokes of a bike. Starts in one area and it has radiating lines, radial lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my undercurve, which looks like a smiley face. And I'm going to do some lines in a curved line from one line to the next. So I'm going to go and make one line. So notice my line touches here and touches here and makes a curved line like a smiley face. And I'm going to continue doing that. Notice you can fit about 2 fingers between each line. I don't want to do too many. I'm probably going to have between 4 and 5 lines. So the next thing though, these were all undercurves. Now I'm going to do overcurves, which means it's going to look more like a frowny face or a... So now I'm going to do the opposite direction on each side, but I'm going to match up with this line right here. So notice I go over. So instead of under, I go over. And then the same thing, notice I matched up with this line right here. I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'm making like a frowny face this time, and I'm trying to keep my lines even. And I'm going to go all the way down doing that. Okay, now I'm going to turn my paper a little bit, and now I'm going to go back. So this was under, over. Now I'm going to do under. So again, I match up with those lines, and I make smiley faces again. And I'm going to be continuing this pattern. That's why we talked about we're going to be doing patterns, because we really are going to be creating a pattern. So under, over, under. That means this one's going to be over. So I'm going to go over. And again, I'm matching up, making sure I come and touch the sides of the lines here. I do not want to leave them where they come down and they curve down. It doesn't look right, boys and girls. And you want to make sure you're matching up with the line before, because if not, you'll end up with a spiral look, and we don't want that. So I'm turning my paper. I'm going to do smiley face. See, and now we're kind of getting this wavy line, so it kind of looks like movement in here. That's the illusion. that we're creating with the flat 2D paper. So now I'm going to come and do over, over, and I'm going to do over. And I need to do one more. Sometimes we want to try to make this fit and go in up here. Make sure when you do it that you keep space between it evenly. So I'm going to keep going around doing the same thing. Under, over, under, over. So this is going, and see here, I had to go off the paper to keep it even from this line. So on this one, it actually would be up here. So I'm going to come over here, and it only has this line showing. I'm not going to try to fit it in here because then my lines will be uneven. So I'm going to go over, 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 and then I'm going to turn my paper under, under, over, and then I'm going to finish up with mine right here, and I'm just going to go kind of quickly, and I'm going to do kind of under and something under there. And then my last one, I want to make sure that I connect my circle now so that it creates, even if they aren't exactly even, I can still create where they connect so that it looks like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark mine. You are doing it with a pencil, very, very light, so you can't see. I'm going to mark mine with a Sharpie. And I'm going to start here in the very center one. I'm going to go black. This is white, black, white, black, white. Now you are using a pencil to do this, boys and girls, because if you make a mistake, you want to be able to erase these. I know that I'm going to be coloring in this with black, so that's why I'm doing it with the Sharpie. So if this is black, that means the one next to it's going to be white. So this is black. See, no white, this white and black next to each other. It should create a pattern. White, black, white, black. So then if I rotate it, that means this one is black. Let's color this one in real quick. So white, black, white, black, white, then white. That means this one's black, white, black, white, black. If you have two B's that are like BB, then that's wrong. You should have a gap in between of a white space and then black. So it's a pattern. So that means this is black, white, black, white, black, white, white, black, white, black, white, black. Don't forget to do these bottom pieces down here and don't leave those unfinished. So that means this one's black, white, black, white, black, white. So I'm going to continue that throughout my entire picture. So notice I don't have any blacks that are touching each other. There's all a gap. There's surrounded by the other color. So now I'm going to actually go in, and you're going to be using your Sharpie now. Your Sharpie, you need to trace every single line that we've done in your pencil. I've already done that. So you guys are going to do that now. After I'm done, I'm going to go and color in any one that has a B on it for black. I'm going to color in all those pieces so that I don't see those letters anymore. Instead, I'm going to have this nice black and white pattern. Again, do not color these. Don't color. I want you to do that next time because we're going to talk about what we need to do. So you're going to color your black and white pattern, and you're going to finish in that, and we'll be ready for the next week, boys and girls.